Hi everybody. Okay, I decided to do a video for you from my backyard because after seeing Berberian Sound Studio, I think I need some sunshine and fresh air to cleanse me. Wow, that was one of the weirdest movies I have ever seen, and that's saying a lot coming from me because I've seen a lot of weird movies. But for me, it was weird in a good way. There have been weird movies that I've seen that have really kind of irritated me and even made me angry because they're so incomprehensible that some of them seem to be that way deliberately that only the director could possibly know what's going on in the movie. And I find that kind of egotistical and just annoying. But in this movie, I didn't get that sense. This movie I just thought was just extremely original. I don't even know how to begin to explain this movie because I really can't tell you all that much about, I can't really explain it to you because I don't understand it myself. Okay, so to give you like a brief rundown, basically it's about this very like meek, officious, like accountant-looking guy, older gentleman, middle-aged, a nice British, like gentleman, and he goes to Italy to edit an Italian horror film with this Italian crew, and I gotta say, I know a lot about watching movies, definitely, but I know very little about making movies. And one of the really cool things I found about this movie was that it showed you the sound editing side of it, which was really kind of fascinating. Like how they do all the sound effects and stuff like that, and how they record it in these sound booths and everything. Wow, it was just like a really surrealistic, hallucinogenic. It's almost like the movie is like you're on acid or something watching this movie because it's like impossible to figure out. I mean, it starts off kind of simply enough with him going to Italy and him kind of meeting these like kind of bossy, eccentric Italian filmmakers. One of the guys that he works directly with is always bossing him around and telling him, go do this, go do that. And the director is this really like, typically enigmatic type, Italian director. And the film that they're working on is this like horror film about girls in this boarding school who discover these witches' coven or something in the school, which is a lot like Dario Argento's Suspiria. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that, but that's one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's a classic, just a brilliant horror film, very stylish and just fantastic. I highly recommend it if you want to see a great stylish Italian horror film from the 70s, which is this film was it was based in the 70s. It was taking place in the 70s. So, I mean, anyway, what can I tell you? I mean, just this guy goes to work on this film. They're working in this very claustrophobic kind of sound room, very dark, just all these, like panels, sound panels, and equipment around. And these actresses go into the sound booth and they read the dialogue and they scream, and these guys are doing the sound effects of when the girls meet their demise, like by smashing watermelons, and it's funny, like darkly funny, and just so fucking weird. Like you're just going, what's happening here, and what's going to happen? Like it just keeps going on and on and on with this guy going into the room day after day working on this film, and things just get progressively weirder and weirder and harder to figure out what's going on. Like I said, I can't begin to explain to you, the plot really. I mean, at the end, it's not even clear whether it even happened to begin with. It's that weird. I was kind of thinking of what I could compare it to, like maybe David Lynch or something like that. But I mean, this movie compared to David Lynch looks fucking normal. It was that. it was just that weird. That's all I can say. But like I said, in a good way. The actor who played the sound editing guy, the really meek British guy, his name is Toby Jones. Really good actor. And I saw him recently in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gary Oldman, which I didn't like. I didn't like that movie at all. I thought it was very boring, actually. I thought it was going to be great, because I hadn't seen Gary Oldman in a movie in a very long time, and I really like Gary Oldman, usually. But I didn't like that movie at all. It was extreme. That was another incomprehensible. I couldn't follow it, couldn't figure out what was going on. But Toby Jones played this, he played one of the higher ups in the, I guess in the MI5 or whatever, one of Gary Oldman's bosses, and he played a kind of like evil, you know, evil guy overseeing him. But anyway, he's a great actor, and you know, he did an excellent job in this. I mean, just kind of looking bewildered, looking like really out of his element. You know, like these Italian guys, every time they'd cross paths with him, they'd kind of, you know, try to fuck with his mind a bit, and, you know, like tell, like, oh, you English are so, like, quiet, you know, like, you know, what's wrong with you, and all this stuff, and he's just kind of taking it all in, just not really saying anything, not really doing much. He never argues with him, just does his job like he's told, and you know, I don't really know what else to say about this movie, except that I really enjoyed the 70s horror backdrop. I really enjoyed the weirdness, even though I didn't understand it. I really enjoyed just the whole mindfuck of this movie, because, you know, you're just, you know, I don't know if anybody could figure it out. If anybody can explain it to me who also has seen it, please tell me. Please let me know, because I'll be looking for reviews of this in the paper to see if anybody can explain it, because it sure, you know, bewildered me. And this is one of the few movies also that my husband and I were seeing together, and he couldn't figure out either. We were walking out of there going, what did you make of that? And he was just like, oh. I don't think he liked it very much. But you know, I have to give it points. I really admire movies that, you know, go out of the grain, go against the grain, I should say, and try to do something different and challenge moviegoers. I mean, when everything is kind of spelled out for you and it's made so easy, you know, that's nice every once in a while, but every once in a while I like to be challenged, and I like to be I like that the filmmaker kind of respects my intelligence enough to think that I can figure it out, even though I couldn't figure this one out. But, you know, what can I say? I enjoyed Berberian Sound Studio. I've got to give it a thumbs up for originality, for uniqueness, for just audaciousness, for just style. It was very, very stylish. By the way, the director, sorry, I mentioned him. His name is Peter Strickland. And he was there also, but he was on his way to get lunch, so he couldn't introduce. He didn't have time to introduce it, but he was going to be back for a Q&A, but we had to leave, unfortunately, because I would have loved to hear the Q&A on this one. But anyway, that's about all I can say about Berberian Sound Studio. It delivered. I knew it was going to be weird when I read the description in the Tiff program book. I knew it was going to be really weird. I knew it was going to be different. I knew it was going to be probably, you know, pretty, you know, it was going to delight me. I knew that. I just had the feeling about it, and it did. And I don't care that I couldn't figure it out. That's okay. I'll be thinking about it, trying to figure it out for a while, and you know, maybe I'll watch it again on sometime if it comes out on DVD, and see if I can figure it out next time. But if it does come out in the theaters, you know, you adventurous filmgoers, I urge you to go see it, because you're not going to be able to forget it. It's really, really cool. Very cool film. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow with more movies. Bye-bye.